All right, I believe we're live.
This is
think-
weird.
I
This is
think
really
we're
weird.
here. I
First
didn't
ever.
expect to be here. This is very, very unexpected.
Yeah, I mean this late at night Wednesday. I mean, I think the craziest thing about I've been one who's been saying I'm expecting like a Peterka trade, to be honest, but before the Byram trade, not at all. I can't believe this is the first trade of this is our first move of the offseason.
Kicking this off this way is unreal. I can't believe this is the first move that they've chosen to do.
This is insane.
Yeah, this is
I was thinking the Byram trade immediately.
Should we give a little context as to where where we were tonight?
yeah.
My hands still smell like hockey bag.
Thank God it did not break during the game. We had a beer league game tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we won. We won.
did
We were
win.
feeling good. We were feeling vibes were high. And then JP and I were carpooling, and I just say to him, "Holy fuck!" He's like, "What?" He's like, "A trade?" I'm like, stumbling over my words, and I'm like, "Yeah, Peterka to Utah."
This
I
is
mean-
crazy.
Dude, Mike Harrington just tweeted that he said his antenna is up for this to be involving the number 4 pick and or a third team.
Who said that?
Mike Harrington.
Mike Harrington. Well, that's what I said.
I mean, it's gotta be.
Yeah, that's what I said
for
right
the-
away. When Jonah said Utah, I was like, they have the 4th overall pick. Like, I know they have the 4th
Mhm.
overall pick, so it might involve that. I mean, there's... At first, Frank said, it's weight on contingency, so, like, which players involved might have a no-trade clause, or is there a third team involved? I mean, it's anything. It could be anything right now.
We all just sit and wait for the trade. The trade call's going down right now, apparently,
Yeah.
according to Frank.
And reportedly, if we were going to trade Peterka, it was going to be for a large haul. So it better be worth it, especially after Kevin Adams' freaking press conference that he just had. Like, he's got to prove it to us that this is going to be worth it.
I was saying that to myself on the way home. I was saying Kevin Adams' contract is up next season, and we could speculate on whether the team wants him back or not because of how we operate around here. But the way he's been over the last 3 years, it would be completely insane if he just traded JJ Peterka for spare parts. This has to be some sort of hockey trade or a big return involving multiple teams. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for.
And
Because if it's anything less than that, I might lose it.
And if we're talking third teams, like, Dobson is the obvious one. The Islanders and Dobson. The Islanders want Hagens. It's so obvious. So they want to draft Schaefer and Hagens. So they are the obvious one to either want the 4th overall pick, and then, Dobson is reportedly on, one of the guys out there. So they are the most obvious team. If it's someone else, I have no idea what's going on. That's the only team I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else just continually freshing Frank Saravalli's feed
Oh, yeah. Hey,
just to see if there's anything?
Got to give Frank his props. Stuck to his guns. He was the only really insider saying, this is that Peterka's going to get traded. He kept saying it, and Friedman kept disputing it.
There was a certain level of, I don't know if vindication is the word, but just the fact he kept hammering this over and over again. It was the type of... It just made you think, he's really confident in this. And I know we made the Alan Walsh jokes for so long, but, the fact that he just kept doing it, podcast after podcast, article after article, saying that, the Sabres are, Peterka is very much on the way out from Buffalo. It's, unfortunately, you just got to give him credit. He had this coming.
Wow, what a night this turned out to be. I was just expecting to go play a little hockey and go to bed.
And we scrambled to get this all together. First
I know.
live to
I'm
break a big trade.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope this is all like working right now. I'm sorry if I'm not paying attention to the Peterka thing right now. I just want to make sure everything is good to go and everybody can really listen in on what we're saying. So,
I'm so new to this live stuff. Is there comments on Twitter for lives?
I'm trying to figure this. I thought there was they can comment under the tweet.
Right.
I don't know about
Friedman,
a live
Friedman.
chat. Friedman?
JJ?
Hold
Don't
on.
say.
Hold on.
Michael Kesselring and Josh Doan, 3 players, no picks?
Whoa.
I was just gonna say, if we were talking Utah players, Kesselring. Yeah, this is the large haul we were expecting. Oh my god.
Can we say underwhelming?
I think we can.
Ugh. Damn it.
Do not like the looks of that one. Who wants to go first?
Let me just let this soak in for a second, but okay. I'm going to be captain positive here. We wanted a right shot defenseman, and we got a young 23-year-old forward in Josh Doan back in the return.
Josh Doan had some pretty good underlying stuff.
No JJ Peterka, and I'm not saying JJ Peterka is the most well-rounded player in the world, because he's not, okay? His defense was pretty atrocious. His underlying metrics sucked. He was good, putting the puck in the net.
They didn't suck, but they were just very, very finisher
they were
heavy.
Yes. That is something we've brought up. This team has too many finishing-type players. I don't hate that.
It's
Again,
not bad. I would have to look at the
I like those.
dude.
I like those charts. I mean, Kesselring was a very commonly mocked player to us, so it's no surprise that he was a part of the deal. I was literally just about to start talking about him. But I wasn't. I don't know much about Josh Doan. This is.
Oh man, that is very underwhelming from the offset.
I don't know, man. I'm seeing kind of both here. I got to get out of Twitter comments because it's a cesspool when that happens.
I don't know. I honestly might not hate it because, like Christian said, we needed to target a defenseman. We just got one, and we definitely are not replacing Peterka's production. But we're getting a young player who could, I don't know, play a good third line role maybe. He's got definitely has good underlines. It looks like it's literally just his finishing. I think this just speaks to we made the Peterka trade. We just traded one of our top 6 forwards. You're gonna have to go get another top 6 forward too. I think that's what puts the most pressure on it now.
So fellas, I was saying the exact same thing on the way home to myself. I was saying, if they move JJ Peterka, he's one of your top 6 guys. If they move him for this is Josh Doan, solid underlings, very young player, could plug into your lineup well, and you got your right shot defenseman. This opens the door for cap space. This just puts so much more pressure on July 1st. It puts immense pressure on July 1st. Because you got to go out and get a fish now. You got to get a big fish. Because if not, what are you doing?
Hey, we traded away a right winger. There's a big right winger on the market. That's all I'm saying.
They just got one in return though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that is true.
Man, That is.
They just
Sorry if I'm stalling. I'm trying to get the trade graphic prepared.
they gotta replicate Peterka's production now. Like that's gonna be the biggest issue now. 30-goal player, 68 points last year. Doan had 21 as a career high. Kesselring's a good second pair defenseman probably, but they need a top 6 addition now. With keeping Peterka, you probably could have lived without making a top 6 edition. Now I think you have to make one.
So
I also think that Josh Doan is like, in theory, he's everything you want Jack Quinn to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this makes it more likely than not that he's not back, because now, you don't get a center out of this trade unless like I'm just misremembering and Josh Doan is a winger or is a center, but I'm pretty sure he's a winger. Your right wing depth now is Thompson, it's Tuck, and it's Josh Doan, which by itself is not bad. It's not bad. It's just, man, like it cost you Peterka, and like I know Kesselring. Kesselring is probably one of the people who has been like a target just online from Sabres fans the most. But, at the end of the day, he's been mostly a bottom pairing defenseman for them. I think he started this year in their top 4, but that was because, was it Dursey that was hurt this year? Was it John Marino? But once Marino and Dursey were both healthy, like he was firmly on the third pair. This is to an extent similar to Clifton, where it's like, okay, you put up really good results in a third pairing role, but does that translate to a top 4? I don't know. Look, I'll just be honest. Like, this is very underwhelming from the offset, and it's not a trade that they can't win. It's not a trade that, like we said, you can see Josh Doan's numbers and Kesselring's. Like, it's positive stuff. You can tell they're clearly targeting more defensively oriented players, but it's not what you expected for JJ Peterka.
Definitely.
How does this affect the Bowen Byram trade?
It puts a lot more pressure on it. I'll say that. It puts a lot more pressure. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I feel. It puts a lot of pressure on it.
It puts a lot of pressure on July 1st too. Because does this free up cap space?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Doan's, I think Doan's on his rookie deal still.
Yeah, he's got to be. And then Kesselring is only making 1.4. So you probably save like $5 million with this deal. At $4 to $5 million. If Peterka's probably going to get like 6 to 7, I would assume. They're probably going to combine like 2.5. Doan and Kesselring. So you're definitely saving cap. It's just a question if they'll actually spend it.
What if you went for like a Jordan Kyrou? What if you did like Quinn plus the 9th overall plus a mid-round pick?
That's the thing.
That's not going to get you Kyrou.
Peterka would have been the guy to trade if you were trying to make a big trade.
He was the swap. Yeah,
Peterka for
he was the
Kyrou
swap at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like, you just lost your most valuable trade asset, realistically, for
100%.
Like a fine return. It's just, once again, like,
it's not fine. It's just like it's two pieces that have to be added together to win this deal. Like it's we talked about this in our last episode, and for anybody that didn't listen to it, we said, like, if you're trading Peterka, he cannot be the best player in the deal, and certainly not by this much. Like, he's a tier above both players, probably multiple. He's multiple tiers above both of them.
Could you pull up Peterka's player card on Evolving Hockey?
I can. And it's going to grade out well because the guy scored a ton.
Yeah. It's just, like Jonas said, it's another trade where we're not getting the best player back. I mean, you could just looking at the other two cards, you see the contrast. It's just pure offense from Peterka and pretty much more or less pure defense from the other two.
Does any of that scream shooting bender to you?
Oh, he was absolutely on a shooting bender. He had the highest 5v5 shooting percentage, I think ever recorded. So
I'm just saying, listen, I don't disagree with either of you guys. I think it's another situation where you have to move a player out and you get two players that add together to get you that, to that even trade where it's almost like, shades of, the Jack Eichel trade or whatever else where you're not getting the big piece. You're getting the scraps back. And I'm not saying these guys are scraps. But they're obviously trying to fill a role on this team, and they're trying to fill out a specific role for this team. And I think we're kind of gunning towards what it's going to be, a more defensive oriented team. It hurts to give up JJ Peterka, but I mean, how many finishing types are you going to have on this team?
I mean, you definitely become a more balanced team. I mean, how many times has Kevin said, we need to play better in front of our goalies? I mean, it's another move for that.
Come on, man. He's a black hole on defense. It's like, if you add 10 years to this guy, he's Jeff Skinner.
He very much did, accept the torch from Skinner in a lot of ways. Breaking from Pierre LeBrun. Peterka, who was a pending RFA, has also agreed to an extension as a part of the deal. That I would assume that was from the contingency.
Yeah, it's
How much is the extension?
Don't know. Hasn't been reported yet.
Man, yeah, for real. Jesus, take the wheel. If we're banking on Bowen Byram to get us a top forward, you got to package a bunch of stuff with him.
There is a lot of people who are going to be waking up tomorrow and just being like, "What the fuck just happened?"
You got to.
Kevin Adams after dark.
This puts so much. Hey, it's a move. And it's exciting. It does suck to lose JJ Peterka. This will sting 50,000 times more if this is it. And they just do the old, buy him for a pick and nothing in July.
This
cannot be the end. It's got to be the beginning of these moves. This needs a full facelift now. The top six is in shambles. Realistically, is Kesselring your power partner now?
Probably.
I don't know, because here's the thing too, and it's, if Peterka, if he was going to get you a right-handed defenseman, it had to have been someone that was bona fide. That if you're trading Peterka, you are getting a power partner, and Byram was the guy where you would be like, okay, if you're getting a middling right-handed defenseman back, this is the guy that can hopefully play up with Dahlin, and Dahlin can elevate him. And it's like Kesselring is not, like I said, he's in that Clifton tier for right now. Now, maybe it translates for him when he plays up in the lineup, but it's more of the same. It's another, I think he's better than Jacob Bernard-Docker. I think he's better than Connor Clifton, but it's by how much? By how much?
I don't know, man. People are saying we're sleeping on Kesselring.
I'll tell you what gets...
He's fine.
What gets better? Our power play. I can't stand Peterka on the power play.
Oh, he was, dude. He looked like me in beer league tonight. It's like you try and throw me a one-timer pass. It's not happening. It's not happening. The puck's not going near the net. That frustrated me the most about his game, probably more than his defensive stats.
I agree. He should be one of those guys who's kind of a power play merchant, and he was just brutal. I mean,
atrocious.
Of course, our whole power play sucked, but I think he was honestly one of the main reasons.
But it's like now Josh Norris takes his role, who
I'm not surprised.
I don't know. This is just... What the hell happened that they had to get this done immediately, right away? This was the deal that they were set on.
Because they're going after Marner in free agency. That's why.
Like, look, there's still ways to, somehow win it, but it's not the trade. It's not the trade itself.
Peterka must have actually asked for a trade.
I mean, in Adams' press conference, the way he was talking about him immediately, it just screamed like nothing was going to get done.
So much misinformation out there.
Right.
Oh my God, man. That's just the cherry on top of it all. Like, sorry, I want to pull up this tweet from Aaron. Great follow on Sabres Twitter if you haven't already.
It's good underlines out of Josh Doan.
Some encouraging numbers. I think Doan, they're trying to replicate the McLeod trade here, but it's not the type of player you do that with. You do this with if Bowen Byram got you this trade return, I don't even think I walk away saying like, oh my God, like what a great deal for the Sabres. I walk away saying, all right, they got two players, good underlyings, probably safer players. But like the fact this cost you Peterka at the end of the day, I don't know, man. Like I would have taken 4th overall straight up, I think, instead of this return.
I don't know.
I think you could have done a lot more with that.
I guess so, but
Jonah, someone pitched a question to you in the comments. They said from Grant Bud NY, do you think if we had palm trees, we would have gotten a better return?
And it's also like, dealing Peterka so early. You didn't test teams to see if they would end up offer sheeting him. You didn't test to see if Peterka would sign an offer sheet and put the ball in your court to match, even though it was basically reported that the Sabres would match it. And, you admit it. Like, this is a situation where the Sabres let the player win. If Peterka did ask for a trade at the end of the day, he won. This guy's an RFA. And I highly doubt that he was that he was just going to give up. Like, he was just going to say, I don't want to play here anymore. I think at the end of the day, the guy just wanted to get paid. And the Sabres were just not set on giving that to him.
Well, it's how many times has Kevin said, we want guys who want to be here? If he was truly upset, then that's probably a reason why Kevin traded him. I'm not even saying that's right. I'm just saying it's one of the things that Kevin has echoed over all of his press conferences. We want players who want to be here. I mean, it was reported he was unhappy in the last season. That's why I was saying, like, this, when people were talking about it last trade deadline, and then there was just rumors and rumors and rumors, I just had a feeling that this wasn't going to end well, that it was going to end up in a trade. And, I mean, here it is. I don't know. It's,
I think at the end of the day, it's June 26th. Free agency hasn't opened yet. It's a long summer, and I know we've said this the last 2 years, but
I'm very surprised you're the one taking the approach here.
I truly believe
we got the Peterka extension,
that Kevin...
5 by 7.7.
Oh, they gave him his jersey number as the amount of money he's making. That's cute.
Oh my God!
But like $5 million, like I'm
5 years. 5 years.
Well, sorry, 5 years. With 5 years, I'm starting to think that like the Sabres might have tried to give him longer term, and knowing the cap is going up, he didn't want to do it.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have paid him that much, but cap is going up.
But like I was saying, like at the end of the day, it's a long off season. Bowen Byram is going to be traded for what we do not know yet. The writing seems to be, with this Josh Doan thing going on, the writing on the wall seems to be there for Jack Quinn. He might be gone.
So what?
There's got to be more to this, and if not, I don't know what we're doing.
I mean, there is going to be more. We're going to get the Byram trade probably tomorrow. I just can't see that getting. It's not going to get better return than this. Like I just, there's no way. Like Peterka's a better player than Byram, and Byram might have better PR, but it's not going to get you that.
It might
much.
be weird. Maybe it's a trade return that surprises you. I mean, look at what happened with the Ristolainen trade all those years ago. You know, you deal him to the Flyers, you get a roster player, a first and a second, and you're thinking, oh my God, you know, Kevin Adams, man, like what a deal. And then that night, you know, you're walking away from the Sam Reinhart trade, or I guess the next day, but you know, the next day you find out it's for a first round pick and a 6th round goalie. You know, you can look at the Reinhart trade and be like, well, you know, that's what other people were going for, you know, RFA wingers. But, you know, sometimes it's just player value is weird. So maybe Byram nets you more.
He could. I mean, I think part of it, too, is the Byram trade, all of the rumors, you know, pretty much saying like a late round pick and a defenseman. Well, we might have already got our defenseman. So now do you actually trade Byram for a forward, or do you trade him just for a pick? Or maybe you do get another defenseman and they do shake up their decor even more. I think that's what makes this trade makes that a little more interesting, just because of that. Do they make another move? And if they make another move for defenseman, like if they trade Byram for, let's just say, Liljegren from the Sharks, because that's been mocked so much, then which defenseman are you moving out? Right? Like, is Samuelson actually gone? Are they, you know, actually gonna get rid of Clifton?
If your defensive additions are Liljegren and Kesselring, what are we doing here?
I don't know what other options are really
like,
out there. Though.
Like,
I mean, of course, Dobson is, but
I don't know if I made this joke on the pod. I definitely said it in like one of our group chats. How this is Kevin's 2019 Botterill offseason, where it's basically, it seems like this is the offseason where he goes and attacks the defense. And say what you will about Botterill's tenure as GM, which was horrible, and even 2019, it was still a bad summer overall because you signed Marcus Johansson to be your second-line center, and you traded a third-round pick for Jimmy Vesey. His defensive additions were not, like, you looked at that defense group and like, wow, that's a good defense group, because he had traded for Montour at the previous deadline. He traded like a second and a fifth for Colin Miller, who had scored 40 points for Vegas like 1 or 2 years before, and then getting Henry Jokiharju at the time for Alex Nylander was a huge, win. If you're walking away from this year and you've got Kesselring and Liljegren to show for it, you better have nailed the forwards, because that's not going to change as much as you think it will. You've got Liljegren, who is, I like, he's got some offensive upside. I think he's a guy who can play up with Dahlin and even power, but Kesselring is just he's no top 4 defenseman yet. He has to prove that.
What was the last deal we made that we didn't have to talk ourselves into it? I mean, this is another trade where
I was pretty happy with the Ryan McLeod deal.
Okay, that's
I really
true.
didn't hate that whatsoever.
I agree with that.
But I get it. You had to fight the NHL media on that. Like, I guess was it the Risto trade?
Probably.
You're going to be fighting the media with almost every single trade that.
Well,
I don't know if you guys have noticed. There's a stigma around this team where anytime we make any sort of move that moves a piece out, they're always like, "Oh, look at this! This team's going to win the cup now." It's always going to be something. I can't deal with the comments. I know if you go into any comment section about this trade, it's going to be, oh, Buffalo got fleeced, or oh, Utah got fleeced. I'm like, nobody knows yet. I mean, there's obvious opinions you can make about this trade, and they're all valid, like we've said in this conversation, in this live, that we didn't get the better player out of this trade. That is true. But if there's more to this to come, which there needs to be, unfortunately, and there's a lot riding on that, I still have hope. I do. So I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to reassess maybe July 4th when free agency kind of wraps up. But the funny thing about this whole thing is Kesselring only makes $1.4 million, so if they don't add anything, they're going to be sitting with so much cap space going
I don't
into
know.
next
You
season.
can see right now you've got $20 million in cap space. So it's kind of because Peterka was still on his rookie deal. So, I mean, honestly, you took on cap space in this deal technically because him and Doan were.
I guess so.
I mean, maybe he was making more than Doan by like $100K or so. But Kesselring was the one with $1.4 million. But now you don't have to sign a guy for, I mean, let me check my notes, $7.7 million per season. So you would have to think that free agency is something that they're going to give a shot at. And
The only
I just like there's good if they go out and somehow get Mitch Marner to sign, which is not going to happen, like okay, or if they get Nikolai Ehlers to sign, like the Ehlers idea is something we've thrown around because like if you trade Peterka and bring in Ehlers, Ehlers is probably what you want Peterka to be. Ehlers is the better player, but still it's Kevin Adams sucks at free agency, man. I mean, aside from this last season where he landed Jason Zucker, his resume speaks for itself. He doesn't target the best players. His fourth line was a complete failure last year. Connor Clifton and Eric Johnson were complete failures. It's worrying that if this is the option, if this is the pathway they're willing to go, it makes you nervous.
They better get that Tuck extension done too.
Oh, yeah, big time.
They better get that Zach Benson extension done because guess what? He is your only left winger with long-term viability now.
Yeah, so running through the lineup real quick, at least the forwards. I'm going to start bottom up. Okay, you got the fourth line, which is what?
Krebs,
Greenway,
Krebs,
and
I don't even know.
Mallenstein.
Do you even throw Greenway on the fourth line right now?
Yes, because
I'm not saying you shouldn't. Like I'm not saying when the summer is said and done, you don't throw him there. But
I'm going to say it because I think I agree with you. I think Jack Quinn, the writing is on the wall for him. So I think the third line is going to be some sort of mashup of Zucker, McLeod, and Doan.
all right, well let's talk through this. Let me pull up a note thing to mock up a lineup with.
All right.
Let's see. Give me one sec.
I'm glad Terry gave Kevin the okay to do this trade. Forgot to talk about that. Who said it? Was it Drager or some insider said Terry Bagula gave Kevin Adams permission to make a JJ Peterka trade?
Projected.
Leave me alone.
It's late.
It's been a long day. Some of us have work in the morning.
Most of us do.
All of us do.
Okay, so what's your top line right now?
I think it's more fun to start with the bottom line. Just space down a little bit.
Okay. We'll
All right,
work our way up.
Bottom line. Let's just do. I'm going to start here. Greenway, Krebs, Mallenstein / Kozak. That's your fourth line.
Okay.
Third line. Writing's on the wall for Quinn. Zucker, McLeod, Doan. This is where it gets interesting because with Peterka gone, I'm not, out of all good consciousness, I am not putting Jack Quinn in the top six. I cannot do it. I cannot justify it.
Is
So
there
you're gonna
room
have
for
to-
right? Is there room for him right now? If we write this out, is
You're gonna
he
have
in
to
there
help me
right
out
now? Because where are we at?
Put
let's
Betson, Tage,
let's
and
fill in.
Kulik at the top.
Let's fill in the top line.
And then it's Norris and Tuck.
Yep. Well, Tuck
So
isn't a... Yeah,
And
there you go.
Right now, Quinn is slotted in there, unless, I guess...
And Quinn's a right-handed guy. He's playing the left wing. Has he ever played left wing?
Zucker could move up too. I'm not saying that would be a good move, but I definitely have more confidence in Zucker than Quinn at this point. Yeah, there is a hole in that top 6 now.
A huge.
I mean,
hole in the top
we were
six.
talking about top 6 editions before this, and now it just makes it even more important.
And now,
I do.
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna make a little switch to this lineup that is gonna infuriate you, but I could totally see them doing it. Boom.
Dude.
There's our
That's
lineup.
what I just said. Move
Yep.
Zucker up.
Or it's like, here's an idea. What was I gonna do?
Oh my God.
You know, make Quinn earn his worth. You know, you reunite the McLeod, Greenway, Zucker line, and then let's see if Josh Doan's a top 6 forward. Doesn't that just infuriate you?
Is that what you want to be doing as a GM? And you're definitely your final
How many
season?
points is this roster? Like, obviously Byram's gonna change. That's why there's the asterisk there. But like, how do you look at this and be like, yeah, we can compete for the playoffs?
No, this is a 75
Like, I know
point roster.
it's an unfinished project, but still, like, holy crap! You need at least a top 6 edition, and you need to nail your next defensive edition. What do you think? What do you think Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin are thinking right now? I mean, they're probably asleep. So they're going to be in for a whirlwind tomorrow
Well,
morning.
Dahlin's probably not here, so I don't know the time difference exactly.
That's
He
true.
could just be waking
It's
up.
probably like it's probably like 8-9 a.m. over
Yeah.
there.
He might be in Buffalo. I mean, they said they want to keep guys here to work out during the summer, so he could still be here.
Gotta
I
take
would hope
advantage
that
of the new
I would hope that
lifting
Kevin
coach.
Adams. I would hope that Kevin Adams' first phone call after calling Peterka and I guess after calling Kesselring and Doan was to put Dahlin and Tage on the phone and tell them what the fuck their plan is. Because if I'm them, I'm going, we just lost a top 6 forward for 2 guys that are still pretty unproven in this league. At least in Kesselring's case, it's unproven in the role they probably want him to play.
Is JJ Peterka even proven in this league yet?
Yeah, he scored
He
68
had
points.
68 points. 50 points and 68 points. He's proven.
Yeah, he is.
That
Okay.
extension is proof of it.
All right, whatever. I think it's an overpayment, to be honest. And
I
I'm not
agree.
coping. I am coping.
Don't.
I don't love that deal on a 5-year basis. If that was like the 8-year extension, I think that's a good number.
Yeah.
But 5 at 7.7. Actually, JP, reading that with
That shooting, I think
Seven
his shooting
point-
is going to regress.
$7.7 million spent from Utah that might take them out of the Marner sweepstakes.
That's a good point.
Nah, he's going to
Chess-
Vegas. It doesn't matter.
Chestnut checkers. Look. I know we just had Doan projected. Doan cannot be a top 6 move right now. He's got to be a third liner, maybe even fourth liner, but probably third liner. So like, this is probably your most realistic one we're looking at right now, without Quinn in it. Like, you have to make a top 6 edition, and that's with what, a 20-year-old Zach Benson and a 21-year-old Yuri Kulik, who we love, but like, it's not
But like,
not
come on,
very
they
proven.
they're not first line guys yet.
And most people aren't too high on Norris. I think people need to give him a chance, but I absolutely hear the questions on it. Like, they need to make a top 6 edition.
Like, I'll call a spade right now. That forward group is atrocious. It's just atrocious.
For a
I didn't
team
think
that
it was
wants to
great
make
before.
for a
Right.
team that wants to make the playoffs, it's just not good enough.
No.
It's not good enough.
So I'm just trying not to get too mad about this whole thing. So I think we just got to reassess after the draft, after the Byram trade,
Yeah.
and then after free agency.
I mean,
We got to see.
we'll find
what
out a lot
happens.
this weekend. Because free
Mhm.
agencies, isn't it Monday? No, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So, I mean, we'll find out a lot. After the Byram trade happens, we'll see even more of what they're planning on doing. So, I'm thinking that's going to happen tomorrow or early Friday. So,
What about Byram and Quinn for someone?
Is Quinn even a positive asset at this point?
He's a first
He gets
round pick.
something.
You could market that he was wasn't he AHL Player of the Year?
He had 40
couple years
points
ago?
last year.
He had 40 points. Like, come on.
Like I think there's not like I can talk myself into this, but like I said, like if this was the Byram trade, I'm thinking, this is a good job. It's just Peterka at the end of the day. It should not. I don't know. I feel like you should have gone fourth overall on top of all of this. I mean, at the end of the day, as good as his impacts were, Josh Doan had, in 51 games, he had 19 points.
Yeah.
Like you cannot be looking at that as a top 6 addition. Now, he only shot 8%, but man.
I mean, if you look at his prospect profile too, nothing like blown out of the water. Like this isn't a
He's
top
a
guy.
very
He's an
just-
early second round pick.
Yeah, very, very responsible player,
Mhm.
but it
Not much offensive
gotta
upside.
gotta nail the first week, or gotta nail the next week.
Hey, Quinn did have more points than Zegras last year. I mean, in like 15, 17 more games. But I don't think Quinn's value is completely in the shitter.
I don't know.
That kids line just completely blown up in the last 5 months. We thought that was a line.
If you would have
the
told me,
future.
if you would have told me that Jack Quinn would have been the last, like if you told me back in like 2023 that within a few years the kid line would be broken up and Quinn would be the last one standing, I'd be like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I think Quinn's going to be the best guy, and he is comfortably the worst right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the last one standing.
Also, the only one.
Guys,
Like that's
major
just such a
injury.
that's just such a fucking frustrating way to look at the last few years. Like they progressed, like of that line, they traded the 2 players that were actually decent. Like Cousins is the epitome of middling, but Peterka's obviously a great player, and you get stuck with the guy who had one of the worst seasons you'll ever see last year.
Yeah. I did find a way to pull up the live chat. People aren't happy.
There's a live
Learn.
chat.
Yeah, there is.
Where is it at?
If you go into the live, there is, just click the chat box at the bottom that says live chat, and it pops up.
Where is it? Say that one more time.
Go into the live on Twitter.
On the
And
live
just
on
look-
Twitter.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just go below it. Like, you click into it, and there's a chat box at the bottom that says live chat. Below the likes, the retweets, and all that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn. I'm missing a lot of comments here. Sorry, folks. To the 5,000 plus that are watching, thank you. I guess I'll have to pull that up on Twitter. Can I pull it
Never
up on
talked to this
here,
many
or is
people
it
in my
on-
life at once. It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of
Whoever
admirable.
thought we'd have this platform.
Dangerous. Podcasts are
Me-
a dangerous thing for the ego.
Me, me and Jonah were just 2 idiots at UB trying to figure out how to use Odyssey.
And now look at us.
Look at us now.
I wonder if I can display it on here. That's what I'm wondering.
Gotta spend this cap, man. They got 20
You
million
gotta.
now.
20 million in cap space.
Gotta be. They have to have some sort
You
of
just-
plan. I hope.
Please just throw the book at Mitch Marner. Throw him $15 million, even if it's for like 2 years. I know he said he was like thinking about signing a short-term deal.
Ooh. Oops.
The thing is there's been a ton of teams linked to him. Sabres haven't been mentioned once.
Nope,
Which
not in
that's
anything I've read.
Before the offseason's even started and we talked about Marner, that's all I said, is I want to know that we were at least in the sweepstakes. If Marner doesn't want to come here, like, it makes complete sense. I just need to know that we were at least made an offer. But we've heard nothing yet. Marner or Ehlers, those are the only 2 forwards that intrigue me. Like, you got to make a big addition to this top 6. Those are the only 2 that are in the free agent market. I mean, I guess if Kyrou is really out there, I don't know if 9 and
you're
other
not,
stuff.
You're
I don't
not
know.
getting. You're just not getting him without. You're not getting him. You're not getting him. If they somehow swing Kyrou, it will cost them. I don't even know, like everything. Like it would be like a Eichel level package.
Well, do you think they would take 2 first-round picks? Like if we get a late first.
But are you gonna?
in the
What are you gonna
Byram?
get? Are you gonna give up your? They're not gonna take 2 picks in this draft. The only way Jordan Kyrou is getting traded is if you trade your McKenna pick. And given the way this roster looks right now, you are not under no circumstances can you trade your draft pick in next year's draft. Another thing that infuriates me is the fact that Kevin Adams is making a deal like this when it is so clear that Jarmo Kekalainen is going to be the GM of the team next year.
You got to save your job some way, man.
But he's not going to get fired. Do you think his press conference the other day gave any if his job was really on the line, he would be getting aggressive. He would not be recouping assets. That's what this is. They got younger in this trade, kind of. Right? What year did Doan get drafted?
He's 23 years
He's 23 years old.
So okay, so what? Same draft then?
Mhm.
old. 21 draft.
And Kesselring is 25.
Okay. So I guess you got a little bit older, but
We got older. Did
it's
something right.
unreal.
Just give me the Byram trade now. I better
Yeah,
break.
we need the
early
Byram
tomorrow.
trade.
Like I need to see
So-
that before I really have a full judgment. But like,
That
Realistically,
combined return
yeah,
is going to be just awful to look at. I already know.
I guarantee from just like a name standpoint, looking at players, it's definitely gonna be. It's gonna be disappointing.
What grade do we give this overall?
C plus.
I was gonna say C plus or B minus, probably a C plus. C plus, sorry.
God. I feel like once again, so much hinges on the Byram return. I think just this trade in a vacuum, it's hard to grade it, and it's hard for me to grade it even in the C's.
I don't know, man.
think it's that bad.
I really do think you're underestimating Kesselring and Doan. I know
You're
it's
right, I am.
unproven.
I am.
I know it's
because-
unproven, and I know it's a lot right now, and it's a big shakeup. And we did just lose the guy we originally traded up to pick at the start of the second round, 4 or 5 years ago, who was just having his breakout season. But we're asking for changes. We're getting changes. I do think both players combined, it does come out to more of an even hockey trade, but you're right. It's 2 lesser players for a better player.
You're basically just trading offensive upside and goal scoring for more responsible defensive play. That's what it comes down to.
Which I think is smart, but the problem is you're losing goals. I will say this team had no issue scoring at 5v5 last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Because of him.
I know.
Because of him.
I know. And I was about to say, I think he could be replaced in free agency with one winger, with one name.
They have
They
to
just
nail it.
gotta
though.
go. They just gotta do it. They gotta find that replacement now.
And I bet they're banking on hopefully Cooley can put some more in the net this year. Maybe Benson. And they're probably banking on Norris. I'm just saying what they're probably thinking. They're probably banking on Norris having a good year, 20 to 30 goals. Same for Kulik, and maybe Benson gets to that 20-goal mark. I don't know.
See, but you know what the worst part about this deal is it doesn't tell me anything. We're all saying, let's see the Byram trade, because then you have to really see what they're doing. This trade doesn't tell you anything about what their plans are. It's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They got younger. They saved more money, but are they going to try and say to us that they also got better from this? You have no clue. It's it's the idea that maybe the Sabres should sort of hold off on competing for this year, wait, trade the players that seemingly want to be traded, trade Byram for, get a first-round pick and a young player in return, trade JJ Peterka for what we thought was going to be a haul of assets and maybe a high draft pick. If you were going to do that to, sure, you wanted to compete next year, but at the same time, you were basically setting up Jarmo Kekalainen for his tenure as GM, then that's fine. But this trade doesn't really do that. You got younger, but that's about it. You didn't get these are two players you want to keep around. It's not really assets for Jarmo Kekalainen to go and spend next year. And
no, it's not. It's just bringing in churn, man. You're just bringing in new assets. Last year didn't work.
You're shuffling
the
deck chairs on the Titanic. That's what this sort of feels like from the outside.
I still think it's too early to really be judging this. Talk to me on July 4th.
I'm not going to grade. I'm not going to say this offseason is done. I'm not going to say they're screwed. My intrigue definitely goes up. My intrigue is okay, where do things go from here? It's the fact that Peterka was traded is nuts. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's okay, I really did not think this was going to happen. I did not think it had gotten this bad to this point. I know Saravalli wouldn't shut up about it. I know Merrick was basically saying yesterday, yesterday Pegula had signed off on it if they chose to do it, and he had even said we think that that's what they're going to do. But the fact that they committed to this, this is a player. Jesus Christ, this is another player like Dylan Cousins that the fan base had grown to love. This isn't Matthew Savoy. This isn't an unproven player in the league that they dealt before most people, got to know. This is Peterka, 68 points last season. He is. It's going to be interesting to see how he slots in on that team. I think it's a great environment for him. They are a team that has a crap ton of playmakers, and that was kind of one of their biggest issues. And now they're going to get a guy who thrives with a high, has a very high shooting percentage. We'll see how it translates. We'll see if it's going to be interesting to see if he even gets first power play unit time, because I think their unit was, Dursey quarterbacked. I think Cooley, Keller were on it. Who else? Dylan Gunther was obviously on it. It's maybe Peterka's the last guy, but I think Barrett Hayton was on there as well. Oh man, Barrett Hayton would have been he feels like he is the proven version of Josh Doan, and I feel like I would feel a lot better about this deal if he was the guy coming back. It'll be interesting to see how Peterka slots in there. I feel like I was trying to make a point with all of that.
I find the timing of this so interesting too.
It's before the draft.
That's what I'm saying.
This early. And you could have. You're telling me you couldn't have told? I guess Utah was all right, if you don't give us Peterka, we're gonna go and sign Nikolai Ehlers, or we're gonna go and go all in. But I feel like you still had a couple days to figure this out. Why the rush? You have another week until July 1st.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. If there was a pick involved in this trade, it makes sense that it gets done now, but there is no pick involved. It's just strictly player for player trade. So that's why it's really interesting that it got done now. It probably could have waited until after the draft, or I don't know. That's why the Byram one made so much sense to happen before. It's gonna happen before the draft. But this, I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it happened before. It just seems like you could have waited. Now they've probably had discussions about this for a while now. They've probably talked to other teams. Maybe this was what at least they think was the best return. The timing is really, really interesting.
We'll just have to wait and see. That's all we could do. Talk to me in, I'm going to say it again, talk to me in a week and a half.
Well, I don't want to wait until then, Christian.
Well, you're gonna.
I'm impatient.
Okay, not even a week and a half. Talk to me in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A week. 1 week. And we'll see what happens.
The M&M offseason remains. Mitch Marner. It's changed from Misa. It's probably out of the realm. It's probably Martone now.
Very surprised that they ended up doing this. Very, very surprised.
Waiting for a big trade. We're waiting. The NHL was waiting for a big trade. It's been pretty quiet in, every offseason. The insiders say how this is going to be a crazy offseason. It's been very quiet. I mean, they've been talking about that there's going to be a lot of pick movement. There's been no pick movement. Maybe this is the start of it. Who knows? Or maybe this is the biggest deal that actually comes out of anything.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow's a busy day.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Hope so.
I wonder when we'll hear from Adams. Will it be post-draft? Is he going to try to shoehorn an explanation for this trade while trying to talk about their 9th overall pick?
Maybe they won't have the 9th overall pick. It'll just all be about trades.
I just have to say, there's so much misinformation out there. I feel so bad for our fans. I feel so bad for the three of us. That was such a telltale sign.
Yeah, that really was.
Always getting dumped on by the rest of the league, and then our GM decides to pander to us.
Tomorrow's not going to be fun at all. Tomorrow's not going to be fun.
I was thinking about this today. I was like, this last year and a half for Kevin and his press conferences have just been, every time he's at a press conference, he says something. Like, prior to this year and a half, it's like Kevin was always saying the right stuff. Maybe he wasn't giving us much, but he was always saying the right stuff. Now it's like he has one quote of every press conference.
I always thought he was it was a nice change of pace because Tim Murray barely gave you anything. Botterill looked terrified of a microphone every time he spoke. Adams talked like a dude. Like, he just talked like someone who was totally fine just being, I don't want to say transparent, but he seemed comfortable talking even when the team was at its early lows and whatnot. But now it's just like every press conference gets worse. It's so bad. And it's so fake now too. Like when he was like, I'm going to be honest with you. And then he goes and says how bad he feels for the fans while saying it's a ridiculous idea that he would buy out one of the fan base's most hated players.
I just think this trade is getting too much hate, to be honest with you. It's just because people could run with the narrative that, Buffalo traded away another possible rising star in the league, just like they did with Casey Middlestat, right?
I'm also to an extent, I'm getting sick and tired of sending players to really good situations. I know it sounds funny, but it's true. They patted Jack on the back. They said, "Don't worry, you're going to Vegas. Calm down. Stop shitting on the franchise," even though he never did. Sam went to the next dynasty. I guess Risto. He went.
I was
going to
say Risto didn't really get better, but Ryan O'Reilly.
Dylan Cousins goes to a team, a young team that you knew was going to make the playoffs and help them in their stretch run.
Mitz.
And now here we are. Casey Middleton went to the Avalanche. And now here we are. Peterka's going to one of the best up-and-coming teams in the league. It's just a little frustrating, because Adams has talked about doing right by the player a lot.
Yep.
And here he is doing it again. And I'm sure he likes the return, but it's it doesn't help. Like the Casey Middlestat struggling. As much as I love the guy, it was a nice change of pace because for once you could go see like it's not every goddamn player that succeeds immediately. All right. Does anybody have any closing remarks?
We're just gonna wait.
Yeah,
Wait and see.
I need to see that next trade. I need to see the Byram trade. But
If they could somehow magically pull off a Byram hockey trade for a solid, it won't be a hockey trade. It would be Byram plus for like a top 6 guy. It's a long shot, but that's what needs to be done to balance this out.
Yep. They need to make a trade for a better player, which they almost never seem to do. But at the end of the day, they're trading offensive upside for more responsible defensive play. We'll see how it plays out. Josh Doan is young. Kesselring's young. But I think that's a lot of goals you got to fill, especially at 5-on-5. They got to make another top 6 edition. If you want to make a statement to the fan base, if you want to show us that you're really going all in, even though you've been saying that for years now, you've been saying our window's been open. You need to make a statement move because none of these have been statement moves. Trading Cousins for Norris, that's not a statement move. Byram for Mets and this trade, there's no statement moves. We need to make a statement move to say, no, we're serious. We actually want to win. It's just been so many lateral moves, and it's kind of just what this feels like. I don't think you exactly got worse, but you definitely didn't get better.
Yeah, it just gives off, when I was talking about how it doesn't tell you a lot about them, what they want to do. If any outside fan is going to look at this deal and be like, and I'm not saying, they're going to make a few jokes, yada, yada, yada. But at the core of their message, it's going to be, okay, it kind of looks like the Sabres sold here, not only to basically to save money, to avoid paying a guy a big contract. Because that extension was done in a second. It was done tonight.
That was a contingency.
Probably, but
it definitely was.
Yeah, that's just what worries me. That it's really shuffling your feet, tripping over yourself, and not moving in a clear direction. Like this, because
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, you could have gone a different route with the Dylan Cousins. If you were able to nail down that Detroit Red Wings trade where they were supposedly going to get Casper and, I don't know, Justin Hall and a pick. And then, if you end up trading JJ Peterka and I feel like if it's a different type of return than this, if maybe you got, if instead of this you asked for 4th overall and maybe Kesselring or something, then it's okay, you're kind of you're trying to get younger here while also picking up assets to deal. And now, with the Cousins trade, you try to get equal value, and Peterka, you're hoping that the parts, that it adds up.
Parts are better
to
than
the whole.
Yep. I was just gonna say this isn't
All Peterka could do is skate in a straight line and shoot the puck.
He was very good at it.
Christian's turned on Peterka right away.
Christian, look at this is amazing.
I'm done.
This is amazing. This is incredible. He's sticking by his team. I love it.
I have to. I have to stick by my team. What else am I gonna do? Am I just gonna dump? There's so many people out there that just dump on them all the time. Not to say that they don't deserve it, but it's just exhausting for me. I can't, man. There's a direction. If there is no more moves from here on out that help the top 6, I will eat my words on this season.
Say that again. Sorry.
If there are no more moves made in the off season that help the top 6, I will eat my words.
How do you think this goes? Let's say, let's stop speaking in hypothetical. What do you think they do from this point forward?
Byram for a late first and another defenseman.
Yes. And then I think they go after Nikolai Ehlers. He said he wants to go to a quiet market.
That is true.
Okay. That is true.
I mean, we've been linked to him for the longest time now, too. I mean, wasn't it the
Good 6-7 years now.
the Risto trade that never happened? You think this is a move where, if Kevin Adams and the front office, if they're in in the war room right now or wherever they are, you think this is one where they stood up and started high-fiving and cheering? Like, I'm gonna say no. This is like
I hope
that.
not.
That's
They
what I'm
better
saying.
not have.
Like, when have we ever made a trade like that recently? Like, this is probably like, okay, like, let's do it. Like, I trust.
Do you think
I
they're
trust
all-
our research. I trust all this. Like, we don't think Peterka is gonna fit in our lineup for years to come. Let's do it. But it's not like stand up and high five. Like, yes, we got it done. We definitely got better today. Like, you can't say that. And I would be very surprised if that's how the front office was feeling. And I wonder if Yarmo's in town with this too. I mean, this is a major move. He's a senior advisor. He wasn't at the press conference. Not that he should be a part of it, but Kevin made it clear that he's in Columbus. I wonder if he was here for it too. Same thing with Carmanos. I mean, Carmanos isn't living here.
So many unknowns. All we're left with is the return for right now, and you can tell the vibe has definitely shifted. It's a very bad time. Even if you believe they did good on this, you have to fight for that opinion, as I'm sure Christian will be over the next week or so.
I'm not gonna waste energy fighting about it. I just want to reassess on July 1st.
No, you're right. I will not grade this offseason in any manner until the first day of free agency is done.
Yes, correct.
Go prove us all wrong, Kevin. Prove us all wrong. There's no
For
one
once.
who's cheering on you.
You got this. We believe in you. No, we don't. We
There's
don't.
only a select few. And go prove us all wrong.
All right. Should we call it there?
Yeah, I know Christian needs to get some sleep. This is way past
He's
his bedtime.
fighting his. Oh, the Sabres just officially announced the trade.
They did.
God, I feel so bad for people that are gonna wake up to see that tomorrow. All right. As for let's see where we're at in terms of for the 6.3 thousand people listening in. 6,300 people listening in. Thank you. It's our first time
Thank
doing a
you.
live bit. Hopefully it all sounded good. Hopefully we gave some good talk about all this good discourse. So, I don't know. Do we need to do a full episode on this tomorrow?
I think we broke it all down, but I don't think we need to unless we could digest it and have more thoughts. But I was gonna say, hopefully the Byram trade, if it does happen tomorrow, hopefully it's like later, so we could go
Yeah.
live once again, and that could just be it.
Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, we can't be live during the day if it breaks, so we'll probably just record later
Yeah.
if the trade breaks.
If it breaks midday, I might be able to shoot on for a little bit solo.
it could
Give
it would
some
be solo.
initial thoughts. So, stay tuned for that. If the Byram news, if the Byram news breaks at night, definitely stay tuned for us to hop on and talk about it again. This was a good experience. We did a good job, and hope we did a good job. And thank you for listening in. So, until next time, see you guys later. Good night. Sleep well. Let's see how these next 2 weeks shake out. And then we'll do some ranting if need be. JJ Peterka is done as a Buffalo Sabre.
He's gone.
See you.
Crazy. See you, folks.
Peace.